The SC2CTL Global Finals. We did the North America Finals last Sunday. We were well into it by this time, weren't we?
Oh, yes, we were. Very well. Probably one of the matches had already finished by this time.
Yep. So this is sure to be exciting, as this will be Team Gravity versus ESC Icy Box from the Europe division of SC2CTL. They were the winners. And I do hear that clickety-clack on your end. How's that DOS keyboard
right.
treating you, Galgation?
You know, I gotta say... Oops. It is rather nice.
Looking
I
good.
try and get it in the frame.
You're even
and
keeping it clean. Look at that.
Yeah, it's pretty, right? Not using any, Cheetoed fingers or any of that garbage. But yeah, it's pretty nice.
Looking good.
So I would recommend checking that out, as I try not to knock my mic over again.
Yep.
Sorry for our headphone users.
Like me. Oh, but
just trying to update the Twitters, making sure everybody knows.
Oh yeah. I should do that. So while you're at it, while I'm at it, go follow at SC2CTL and at stupid Skype, and at WingNetSC and at Galgation. We'll be sending out them tweets here right now if you want to send that along. Also, you know what I'm gonna look for first is the Reddit post, because I'm gonna put that in chat. In about 5 minutes or so, we're going to start with a rundown of the teams, and about 10 after, which is in 15 minutes, we're going to be starting with our first match. So watch out for... Oh, shoot, wrong.
Do we have a Twitter for the our European finals team?
Yes, and I will tell you what it is in a moment as soon as I find it. They're a pretty big deal in Europe. I don't know if anyone watched... WCS Europe last week. Showtime, one of the players that we could potentially see today, had a disappointing run, I guess we would say, because he did end up losing. But I mean, he was in the round of 16 of WCS, so
yeah, and going up against some heavy hitters too.
Yeah. I mean, Duck.
Yeah.
Who is it? Vortex. I think it was Vortex.
He's been playing really well too.
Yeah. So let's see. Oh, wow. Hey, look at that first page. Paste this here link in chat. This will be the infos via the Reddits for today's dealio. Keep that on my clipboard handy for later.
Do you have the Twitter for that?
I'm looking right now.
Okay, sorry.
I was in process of getting the Reddits, and now I'm getting the Twitters.
Okay.
Because I tweeted
one thing
it's
at a time.
ESC Gaming.
At ESC Gaming?
Yep. Did you tweet the tweets?
I'm working on it. I just needed their handle.
Ah, gotcha. At ESC Gaming is going to be the Twitter for ESC, and at Team Gravity is going to be the Twitter for Team Gravity. Haha, as I'm being invited to the first lobby already. Wow, these guys are on the ball. Oh, it's just Humi and our admin-y guy. Hi there. We will start the match at about 10 after. You are being awaited for in the lobby there, Gallegation.
Sorry. Okay. Tweeted.
Not a big deal. Not a big deal at all.
Going and there we go. Whew, made it.
All right. Yeah. You the man. Now I'm just
made it
to see yours, so I can just retweet that. Hey, there we go. One click and done.
Done.
Cool. So, and I do have to say that we were able to get this stream featured now after the last event. So, you know what you can do, viewers? You know what you can do? Down in the lower corner there, you can select the quality that you want to watch this stream in. Isn't that
nice?
Awesome?
Which means I think you can even make it better than it was before too, right?
You can't go higher than source because it just pumps through what we do. So,
well, I guess that makes sense.
You can view it in pretty sweet 720, or you can dumb it down a little bit if you are on a slower connection or watching on a phone. Even you can watch SC2CTL on your phone.
You can.
Awesome.
If the Twitch app decides to work that day.
Yeah, that's always a problem. But hey, maybe
at least they have one.
Honestly, I wish they would just cut the video out in the Twitch app and let you listen to the audio. That'd be cool. So, you know what? Let's get into our team breakdowns, why don't we? What do you think?
Yes, let's do that. See if we can't make some predictions as to who's going to be coming out first.
All right, so looking first at Team ESC, we have not seen them yet as we casted Gravity last week, winning the North America Finals. So I don't know if you're not going to be able to see this on your screen.
I'm not going to be able to see it. I didn't even think about that.
So I'll walk you through this.
All right.
So the players on ESC do have multiple names, as they've got their Europe name and their North America name. And the one player I did put in parentheses here is Showtime.
Right.
So because that's the one people will recognize. I'm not exactly sure I didn't recognize any of the other names, but you never know. So as far as the people that I'm gonna guess, I really don't have any experience with any of these. So
Yeah.
If I was to make a
primarily-
guess, I would say that maybe we'll see Jacko. ESC Jacko is the captain and also a fairly good player from what I understand.
Yeah.
I highly doubt we'll see Showtime first, if at all. I'm going to be guessing that he's going to be saved for a little bit down the line. But, we do have a Zerg and Protoss heavy lineup, as there are 4 Zergs and 6 Protoss on ESC.
Yeah. Now it's just coming up, and there's no Terrans.
None of the Terrans. So now that 60 seconds has passed, Gallegation can. So we're not in the same room anymore, unfortunately.
No.
Logistics decline the ability to do that every week, but so we do have some pretty good players. I would say that we'll see a Protoss first. I'll go with that.
You've got a looks like a 60% chance to be correct.
I go with the odds, man. I go with the odds. So with that, then we'll look at Team Gravity, which we do
All
have
right.
quite a bit of experience with, as we casted them many times last week and many times in the past throughout the
That's
season.
true.
So this is actually the opposite. It's a Terran and Zerg heavy lineup with 2 Protoss bringing up the rear. Not necessarily the rear, because the Protoss are quite skilled, as we've seen. Serenity really doing some work in past events. But, the big story from last week was Korean Air and Semper.
That's right.
Your thoughts?
Korean Air. I mean, they both took out very heavy hitters. Korean Air being able to take down Henderlisk, that was playing for Team YMCMB, and then Semper taking out Roots Maro. Is that
Masa.
Masa?
Masa.
That's right, Masa.
Weak, but so we do have some hold on,
uh,
pretty good. Yeah, there we go. Little feedback there. Turned on the stream here to check and got some back feed. But anyway, so this is a very good team, and I feel like that on some level it depends on the day. We've seen very good results out of them in the past, and last week was certainly no exception, as they really brought it to the forefront. Especially with Korean Air taking out Henderless, like we said, and Semper taking out Masa in pretty commanding fashion, no less. And, will they be able to do the same today?
Yeah, I think that. They're definitely going to have to bring their A game. They're going to have to bring the same level of play that they were displaying last week in order to be able to deal with this. As you did say, I mean, we've got guys who are going to the WCS round of 16. That's nothing to laugh at, really. I mean, that's a pretty big accomplishment. So, we had the coach from Team Gravity on last week talking about, Korean Air has, up to that point, hadn't really been showing all that well, and he just kind of had a miracle day of some Space Jam Magic Mike sauce getting him through it. So we'll see if he's able to continue that, if he just, was able to catalog the information that he acquired, and the skill has kind of made it into his muscles, so he's ready to flex and storm through this team, or if he is going to show poorly like he maybe had a record of doing in the past. But only time will tell, as we will almost certainly be seeing him at some point today.
The interesting bit is how many Zerg and Protoss that ESC has, and the fact that they have no Terrans. So, in your opinion, I'm asking the questions because I always get the point to ask the questions. You can feel free to ask me questions too if you want.
Sure.
But with that, do you think that limits the flexibility at all? I mean, if you have a certain matchup that, obviously Gravity has some of all races, so you can pick to a certain level. But do you think that plays a factor?
Well, it just depends on how well these teams did their research. If you're able to kind of figure out, if you know the player roster and you're able to do some research on the individual players and try and get an idea of what their win rates are against certain races, and you see that one player is particularly weak against Terran, let's say, and if you don't have any Terrans, that's obviously going to be a limitation. But if you don't know beforehand, then you can't really exploit that knowledge anyway. And frankly, you more want to focus on the strengths of your own players than the weaknesses of your opposing team, I would think.
Yeah, that's a good point indeed. So we've seen a lot of matchups. I mean, what is your favorite so far? I mean, the mirror matchups definitely have been not my favorite, but last week, the mirror matchups, man, those mirror matchups.
Ooh, yeah, I was going to say, I think that Korean Air versus Henderlisk was probably one of my favorite games I've ever seen. Just incredible holds, incredible micro, very interesting play by both players. And then, just Semper was playing magnificently as well. So definitely excited to see both those players play. And obviously, I'm very excited to see what our European friends have to throw out as well. I think that they're going to be able to bring a lot to the table, and I'm really excited to see their level of play.
Yep, there's different languages than English in the channel chat so far, so this is new. This is a reminder that, we do have, this is the global finals, so we've got Europeans versus Americans. Well, I guess not all Americans. I think there's some...
just North Americans.
North Americans. Good number of Canadians and USA. I don't think there's any from the southern regions, but it should be a good matchup. How are you doing today, Delegation?
I'm doing quite well. It's a little bit hot and humid and rainy out here, so my hair is kind of going all over the place. But that's all right, We're making do. It's that transition into fall, and in the Midwest here, it is a little choppy transitioning. It can't decide if it wants to be summer, spring, winter, or Mars. So it could be different, but we'll see.
Can you do me a favor here real quick, Delegation, before we get going, is to do a audio check on stream?
Yeah.
You will be
a good idea.
Playing it back in the past, but... so while we do that, we do have the ability, and there are bills to be paid for SC2CTL, as this league does cost a decent amount of money. We do now have the ability to make a little bit of money to, help send out... I mean, let's be honest. Okay, besides the fact of what the league costs to run, Troy is doing this all out of his pocket. We are volunteering our time. No one's being paid on this. And even just the expense of sending out the keyboards to the winners is going to be huge. So let's do them a favor and help them to recoup a little bit of that cost. If you do use AdBlock, we ask that you turn it off for the benefit of the league to help us do that and help us make this happen. If you want to see more SC2CTL in the future, that will certainly help for the duration of the broadcast. So we are going to run a little break here, 30 or 60 seconds, and we will be right back.